Reed. This is Cory, and this is the Anthem podcast. Ed Reed's going into the Hall of Fame today.
Yeah, no, I was waiting to see if maybe your computer would come unmuted and we get to hear the theme again. Wouldn't that be nice? Hey, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 270-something of the O The Anthem podcast, coming to you from the hashtag OTA LA Studios, high above the 110 freeway in downtown Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for subscribing on your podcatcher of choice. The easiest way to find it is to go to anchor.fm/O The Anthem. You can find links directly to whatever podcatcher you want to use. And yeah, thank you for joining us on YouTube as well.
I'll say, of course, yeah, you can find more O The Anthem at O The Anthem on Twitter and Instagram. You're watching right now at facebook.com/O The Anthem, where we record every episode live. Sometimes on Friday, sometimes Saturday, sometimes Sunday, sometimes Monday, sometimes Tuesday. It just all depends. Make sure you're following.
Whenever it fits the schedule.
Yeah. And if you're following on Instagram and you're following on Twitter and you're following on Facebook, you'll get an alert. And if you're watching us now, make sure you hit that little alert button, the notification button. It'll let you know when we go live. And you'll be able to join us every single episode. Of course, you can find all the videos at youtube.com/O The Anthem. And everything O The Anthem related, including the merch store, is available at otheanthem.com.
Yes, indeed.
In fact, the new revamped otheanthem.com.
Well, not up yet.
Still not up yet. You're almost as bad as me with my cover that has still not been done. And paperback, still not completed.
But you know what's funny about it is like I get on set for a while and then I get off set and I'm just like I don't want to do anything for a few.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I get back on set again and I'm just like God damn it. Nothing will ever get done.
I did start editing. I had already started and I picked up where I left off editing, and then we had 3 consecutive days of leaving at 10 p.m. and I got home and I was like, all right, so I'm just gonna watch 10 seconds of this, or 10 minutes of the show, and then I'll start. And then I woke up at 2 a.m. and I'm like, what is going on? I can't sleep.
Yeah.
So then I went and got food and I laid back down and weekend.
I 100% know how that goes.
Yes. Yeah. And then of course, right before on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday wasn't at work. Thursday, Friday, again, at work until 10 p.m. In fact, Friday was a little later than that because my life is not fantastic. But the intervening days, Monday, Tuesday, we did have an adventure.
Yes.
And in fact, I haven't gotten to use this in a while, so I want to use the intro. I'm going to use the intro.
Okay.
Because we get to talk a little sports ball. There we go. Yeah.
Sports ball.
Sports ball. Quick interjection. Kate Ruby's joined us in the chat. Hey, Kate, thank you for joining us all the way from Maryland, where it is 10 p.m. I always forget about the time difference, but 10 p.m. in Maryland, so thank you for joining in. Anyway, so sports ball.
Yes.
The Orioles are slated to win approximately 50 games this year.
Something like that.
And we got to see one of them. Cory got to see two, I suppose.
Two of them. We got to see... Well, I got to see 4 of them.
4. I said wins.
Oh, wins. Yeah.
Yes, you got to see 2 wins.
Yes, I did see 2 wins.
Yes, I got to see one win.
They're 500 on the season when I go, which is like a dramatic improvement.
And something far, far more rare.
Yeah.
In the wild, we spotted a Chris Davis home run.
I know. That was crazy.
Who would have thought that would ever happen? But yeah, so...
I've only hit home run one every 4 games that I went to. Then...
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we've talked before about when we had the season tickets and they'd won like 7 of 8, 8 of 9, 9 of 10 of the games that we went to.
Yeah.
And like, hey, you guys should just give us full seasons. I mean, at this point, them winning 50% of the games you went to might be worthwhile for them just to let you travel with the team and just see what happens. It can't hurt.
I could be a bat boy who's like smoking going down to pick up them.
Listen, they spent 67.
I'm gonna lightly walk to go get the bat, and they're like, hurry up. I'm like, I'm not rushing for anybody.
They paid $67 million for Chris Davis. What would it cost to travel Cory around the country and just
not
with
that
the
much?
Team? Not that much. And apparently he's producing more than Chris is.
My per diem is low.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, okay, so let's see. On the average week, we're going to need a carton of cigarettes and a decent hotel room. And they have continental breakfast there? All right, yeah. 1 meal a day because he'll be at the ballpark for the other meal. And good. Perfect.
All I need is the Earl Weaver, like me smoking like right during the national anthem. It's like, relax, kid. We do this every day.
Yes. There you go. So the overarching theme, we got to go to San Diego. My first visit to Petco Park, not your first visit, but my first visit, and I would say with a rocket to the top 3 ballparks I've ever been in. And what people have been recommending to me is that I actually need to go and check out San Francisco's park, which is not Candlestick, AT&T Park.
Because now it's Oracle Park.
Oracle Park.
Yeah, they keep changing it. That's part of the problem.
Because it is of the same variety of big, beautiful parks that will remind me of Camden Yards. And Camden Yards will always be number 1 in my heart. The only reason that anyone would ever compete is because they took the example of Camden Yards, which was set in 94, and then just basically had 20 years to figure out all the things that we couldn't figure out. Like, should we put a dog park right next to it, or a little baseball diamond, or any number of things? Yes, you absolutely should, and you had until 2014 to figure that out when you built the park. So that's lovely. So it was a great time. Got to check out the whole stadium. Fantastic eats at Petco Park. You can't beat
the barbecue was very good.
Yes, yeah, barbecue was decent for California. I would say I think we've had better barbecue in LA, but for ballpark food, it wasn't bad. Oh, you didn't like that place we went to. That's right.
I mean, I think that barbecue is fine in LA. It's just like, so here's what's frustrating about LA food wise. For almost anything you name, we have one of the 10 best something restaurants in the country.
Yeah.
Or in the world, maybe. So if you were just like, I'm really in the mood for Thai food is my number 1 thing. I bet somewhere within the city limits of Los Angeles, I can find you one of the world's greatest Thai food restaurants. But the things that LA can't do is like, it just feels like you're miles away from anything resembling like good pizza.
Here's the thing, though,
or bagels, or like,
I think it's about the search, because I'd said that about Cuban restaurants, but then you found one that made a like high 90s Cuban sandwich.
Yeah.
So it could be that there is a pizza joint somewhere that just makes banging pizza.
Well,
we just have to find it.
There's going to be a Gino's that's going to open up in LA.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be...
Well, and I mean, I've heard from people that it's possible it's the water. That the water makes the dough
100. That's 100% the reason.
So I guess we'll see. Because even if it's a great place, Philly cheesesteaks for a while, we're like, we can't get a decent cheesesteak here, but then we found Booze.
Yeah.
And the key is Booze ships in the bread from Philadelphia every single day. So the one thing they couldn't do here, they figured out how to do.
And I appreciate the fact that Gino's is the type of place that is so serious about their image that they might do a similar thing, like fly in the fresh dough or something.
Could
like
be.
That.
I mean, because the meat you can get and like Domino's.
Your pizza's going to cost $50, but
right.
I mean, like...
Honestly, the Boost cheesesteak is $13, which is a little much for a cheesesteak, but the difference between it and the next competitor is so much different that it's
LA prices too. I mean, like,
also that too, yeah. You already know you're going to spend a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like if a Pat's was here in LA, then it would probably be $13, $15.
I would imagine. Yeah. And I mean, like, again, Domino's that ships in their dough tastes like Domino's on the East Coast, but it's Domino's.
Yeah, it's not exactly pizza.
I mean, wait, that deep dish place we went to, though. The one out in East LA.
Oh, yeah. I remember
that was a really good pie.
Yeah, that wasn't so bad. It was all right.
Literally had forgotten about that place until just
now.
that
one didn't make me like go like I need to go back. Some of these like there's this Nashville hot chicken place that I go to.
Yeah.
That's like a little bit on like people haven't noticed it yet. So like I'm still one of the only people who's there.
So there's not a 4-hour line.
Yeah.
We sent an intern to a hot chicken place, by the way.
Not an intern, an actress.
No, I sent. From my office,
sent an intern.
I did not send them. One of the teams who had team lunch, instead of going out to a nice restaurant, which we allowed them to do, sent an intern to wait 3 hours in line for Nashville hot chicken at a place. And like he showed back up, and I'm like, where the hell have you been? And he's like, just wait. And then it was like a trail of people coming in carrying hot chicken bags. And I'm like, did they make you go wait in line for hours for chicken? He was like, man, I listen. I'm just happy to be here. I'm like, you got the right attitude. I'm gonna talk to the manager. We got some problems. You would go do that, but
I can't pay you nothing for 3 hours to stand in line.
I want it to be an enriching experience for them, and it's not an enriching experience if they're standing in line for days. Howling Rays,
and that's the thing. Like I've had Howling Rays, and it's really good.
Yeah.
it's the type of thing that like if you told me that like the boys were going to go there and we're just going to hang out in line and shoot the shit and then eventually get chicken, then I could see the rationale of waiting a couple hours in line because you have some people there to like do it with.
We've put
But,
our
like,
name
on
into
lunch-
places and waited an hour.
Yeah.
You know, we can burn some time. It's fine.
I mean, like, but the lunch idea of like me going by myself to lunch for 4 hours to wait in line for Howlin' Ray's just doesn't make sense. I'd rather go to the place where I can walk right in, get the chicken. Like, I was at on my way back from picking up gear today. I was at In-N-Out, and I looked across, and the next property over was Del Taco. And I'm in a huge line coming out of In-N-Out, and I'm looking at Del Taco, and I'm just like, is it worth it to get out of this line and get Del Taco immediately?
Yeah.
Or is it worth the wait for the In-N-Out? And that's like one of those LA problems you have.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to
In-N-Out. By the way, In-N-Out. No, one thing on Howling Ray's. When I moved to Chinatown, I started this thing where like I would take evening walks down through the little plaza where Howling Ray's is, and just catch average worker getting a what's up, like, hey man, how's it going? Yeah. Oh no, I know you guys are closed. I'm just out for a walk. My nightly walk. You'll see me tomorrow. It's fine. Because I had this hope.
My nightly constitution.
Yeah, I had this hope that I would make a rapport enough with one of them that I'd be able to roll in there at 3 and just get the like, hey Rob, no, come on, and just like pass the line.
Yeah.
And be like, what's up, you simple peasants? All right, let me just grab my chicken real quick, and I'll be right out of your way. Didn't happen. Apparently, they go through workers.
I think they're really serious about their line too.
Yeah,
because like they have like celebrities standing on the line.
Yeah,
because like that's part of the
whole thing.
The experience of Howlin' Ray's.
By the way, LA people love food. I convinced a guy to move to Chinatown because I was just like, oh yeah, no, there's like a joint down the street that's open. It seems like 24 hours. They open up at like 6 a.m. and they're open until 2 or 3. And he was like, wait, Chinese food at like all hours? I'm like, I mean, they close, but basically all hours you would need it. And he's like, yeah, what's your building? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you gonna move because there's 24-hour Chinese food?
You can just go to Chinatown and get it. Like, you don't have to live there to.
Well, right now he lives in Pomona, I think. So
okay. So he's looking for a reason to get closer to civilization.
He was gonna move closer, and he was like looking at different neighborhoods. And I'm like, you just chose a neighborhood because I told you about Chinese food available basically 20 hours a day. Yeah,
you should move to Koreatown. That's where like all the best restaurants are.
Yeah, but the rent is
all the
far
foodie
higher.
people are like crazy about Koreatown.
They are.
Yeah.
But Chinatown, for those of you who might be ultra local thing where we can discuss, there's like
this ultra local sports ball.
Yeah. There's 4 new apartment buildings going up in Chinatown. So I have a feeling that rent is about to take like a temporary dip as volume goes up. So it's the kind of thing where like if you get in now, you might be able to lock in something so low that the 4% increase year after year still keeps you behind everyone else.
I think you would want to get in after they open.
No, yeah, right after they open. But
Yeah.
they one of them open now, and there's 2 more that are opening in 2019, and the other one's opening first quarter 2020. So it's like get in right, not after they're all open, because then they'll adjust their prices accordingly. But like one of them is like starting at $1,600, and I was just like, say what? $1,600 for a 1-bedroom? Where? Hey, wait, what? Now what's going on? But it's
so funny. There's a place that I've been like a condo that I've been looking at as they've been developing it.
A condo.
Well, I mean, like the building is really nice. So
Yes.
it's this place called Perla. I've got like this fascination with this place, and I remember like just the other day I was down by their office, so I stopped in because their website doesn't have prices, but it does the like condos starting at the low 400,000s, which by the way, people anywhere else in the country are just like,
what the hell?
Is it a mansion? Meanwhile, I'm just like, oh, my little humble studio condominium for $400,000.
Yeah, guys, guess what? I can't touch all 4 of the walls at the same time. Cool, $400K.
Yeah. But I walked in there and I was just like, so your website doesn't have any prices. Tell me seriously, what does a reasonable apartment look like, or a reasonable condo look like in this place?
$494. Like, oh, okay, all right. In the
No, it's like they were just like, a good 1-bedroom with a good view is probably like, $600,000 or something like that. I'm like, still not
horrible.
Completely unreasonable.
Yeah. I mean, I guess depending on so we classify it as okay, good, decent, fantastic, unbelievable, and then rock your bank. That's our views. So when I say good, what I mean is you're not directly over the sewage treatment plant that's next door, but you're adjacent to it. So the smell's there, but not the view.
I do like how there's like places in LA where it's just like if you look on Trulia at some like the lower rent places.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes, it is over an Indian burial ground. Yes, it is haunted. Yes, it is in the LAX flight plane. And yes, it is directly over top of an earthquake.
But
fault line.
But
incredible sunlight in the window.
Yeah.
$450,000. That could be yours. $450,000.
I was talking with these guys about housing, and he said that he went and looked at a place, and he was like, "This price does not fit the apartment that they're describing, and I can't understand why." And no views out the windows. When he showed me the listing,
Yeah.
I noticed immediately. I'm like, "There's no pictures of windows in this apartment," and he was like, "Yeah, I didn't get that until I visited." But there's like, "Oh, the rooftop is fantastic. Oh, there's like all these amenities." And he's like, "It's too cheap. I don't know why." But he went and looked, and the other building is literally 8 inches away. So he can open the window and reach out and touch the building across from him. And apparently it gets light like 7 minutes a day. Just as the sun is directly over top of the gap, it illuminates the room, and then it's immediately blocked by the roof terrace, and it's dark again in that little alleyway. And he's like, "Yeah, so it's a little dark in here." And he's like, "I see the windows," but he's like, "Yeah, well, when we built this building, there was nothing next door. And then they put up the building next door and blocked all the light for everybody at this side."
That's the one thing I really like about like LA as opposed to like New York, where it's just like all my friends buying like New York real estate who are just like, yeah, so it is 15 floors underground.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is between 2 subway tracks.
Yeah, and what he said was he was like,
but it only cost $700,000. So
after he looked at it, he was like actually weighing it out. He was like, "All right, so I mean, I'm leaving for work at like 8 in the morning. I'm getting back at like 9, 10 o'clock anyway. Sun's not a really big deal as it is. Maybe, I mean, the price is pretty right. I could probably work this out."
Meanwhile, friend of the show, Rob, is living in his McMansion in Maryland for what we pay in rent right now. So,
Less than what we pay in rent. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so speaking of less than what we paid for rent, we had a super nice room when we went to San Diego.
Yes, back to that.
A suite at the what was the place called? Gaslamp Suites.
Plaza Suites. Yeah.
Gaslamp Plaza Suites, which I highly recommend the hotel. It was nice and historic. I think our floor actually used to be conference rooms because that's what it kind of looked like.
Well, they had one called the Churchill Suite. I didn't ever get a chance to like ask anybody about it.
Probably should have.
I wanted to figure out if that was the Churchill.
Like, yeah, Fred Churchill stayed here once, and we just named it after him.
Gonzo
Nice.
Churchill.
Yeah, it's very nice. But I was not expecting that. We left LA, headed south with no reservation, and we're gonna figure it out on the way. And we figured it out on the way, and turned to be and they describe it as like it sleeps 4. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
On the ad, and I was like, well, listen, the price is right, and I think we can manage this. And then it turned out like open the door, and I'm like, oh wait, I can go left and right in this room. What is going on right now? And it turned into a pretty nice place.
I always like old buildings because you walk into them and you're just like, look at the space.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
Sometimes you like walk into an old place and it's just like the feet are 5 feet tall. Or the ceilings are 5 feet tall, and you're just like, "Ooh, this is gonna be a problem." But then sometimes you walk into some palatial estate, and you're just, "This used to be a 1-bedroom apartment."
Yeah, we just made it a hotel. Building was also very nice, and it was convenient to the Gaslamp, which is what we wanted. Walking distance, as we proved several times, to Petco and to a lot of the stuff not downtown, but Gaslamp.
Yeah, I mean it was downtown.
But overall, walked in and took pictures, and it's that thing. It was like, I try not to be that guy. Like, what is it? Act like you belong here, or act like you've been here before.
Yeah.
I try to do the act like you've been here before thing. But like, super nice room, and it was hard not to. It was hard to say, hey, I've been here before, because I haven't really been here before. That room was super nice. Oh no, looks like we might be frozen.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anyway,
just push
that comes
on.
Back. Yeah. So first night, we got there at mid-afternoon, hung out, explored the hotel a little bit, and then went to the game at 7.
Yeah.
And not a great game. We got there before first pitch. We were there for the whole pregame stuff. Again, Petco Park's beautiful. And then
Good group of O's fans too.
also, yes.
Yeah.
And we had it wasn't family, but probably friends sitting in front of us, which was fantastic.
The Yakaboni.
Yeah. So again, somebody I didn't know who was on the team because I probably should watch more games. Nonetheless, leadoff home run followed by a second home run, 2 pitches, 2 home runs, and then I was just like, all right, let's go get a drink.
Let's go explore, shall we?
We can go look around for a while. And they put some runs on the board later in the game, but they also gave up way more.
Yeah, they didn't do a lot to improve their chances at that point.
Unfortunately, not. It was not a great experience. So, unfortunately, they dropped the first one. But game was also relatively short. It was done by like 9:30 or so.
Yeah, I think it started a little bit early though.
It was like it was 7:10. 7:10 start.
Yeah.
And we're out by 9:30, and we got some time to go back to the hotel and change, and then out into the night and explore the gas lamp, and had a couple drinks at a nice place, and it was overall just a good evening.
Yeah.
And then I forgot, I guess, that the game was at 12:30, and best laid plans. We got up and had breakfast the next morning. Went and explored the Midway, which, if you have like history at all, which Cory does not, I highly recommend.
I like his. What do you?
Kurt has joined us. Kurt, thank you for joining us in the stream. If you can actually see it, appreciate it. But maybe it's our internet. It could be our internet, actually.
Yeah. Every once in a while, it just goes down.
Yeah.
Just at an inopportune
time. We seem
time.
to be broadcasting fine, so let's keep going with it. Game started at 12:30. Learned a lesson about an aircraft carrier. Everything below the flight deck, not meant for cell phones.
Yeah.
And so
almost hard to believe.
We're walking around and exploring and like totally not paying attention. And then it's like finally like, oh, well, let's just wrap this up. We'll go up to the flight deck. It'll be fine. And we step up on the flight deck, and my phone basically has a seizure as it like messages and texts and tweets coming in. And like, oh, I must not have had service down there. I didn't realize. Oh, it's 12:20 and the game starts at 12:30. So let's just hustle down to the end of this thing and take a picture, and we'll roll out. And took a lime across city to the game, and much better experience second time at the game. We actually got there a little late.
Though it was hot with the sun on us and everything like that.
Yeah. So can you tell the folks, because the one complaint I have about Petco is the customer service at the ticket window, and that's based solely on Cory's experience trying to do that. So let's talk about that.
Well, I just like I went up to the woman. I was.
By the way, Cory is a history hater and did not go to the Midway with us, so he went down to the ballpark early. So that's where this is coming from.
I'd rather explore the city than go to the Midway. It just wasn't my thing. But I went to buy the tickets from the Padres and went up to the box
Cory
office
hates
and everything.
the military.
I like how I was at the Diamondbacks game, which we'll get to in a second, and they were just they were doing one of those like salute to service things.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, we invite you all to stand and applaud for all the military members in the audience, plus people who are firefighters, EMTs, and I'm just like, all right, Army, Navy, Marines, I'm all right. You know, EMTs, firefighters, and it's like, and police.
All right, well, yeah.
That guy go.
Well, fuck you. Yeah.
Anyway,
ticket window in city.
Ask for 2 things: for it to be on a row, and for it to be undercover.
On an aisle.
Aisle, yeah, be on an aisle and undercover, and neither one of those things were.
Wait. What did she say to you, though? What did she say to you when you made that request?
She was like, I got 3 seats right here. And I'm like, great. That was it. I mean, technically speaking, they were on an aisle, but they were on an aisle at the end of the aisle.
We were at the end of the row.
Yeah, like where you just meet up against a concourse.
Against a fence.
Yeah.
So we could have jumped the fence and dropped down, 10 feet to the
15 feet,
concourse.
yeah.
But that wasn't a good plan. So luckily,
just because I get up a couple times during the game, and I don't like bothering people if I can avoid it. So if I can be on the end and just like whoosh, out, then
now a question of etiquette: as I pass, do I give you the ass or the crotch? But yeah, and the most caustic thing to me is, a fair-skinned man walks up and says, "Really need to be undercover. What do you got undercover?" And she's like, "Gotcha." And we could not have been more in the sun if we were in the center of the field. And really, it just
we couldn't have been
blazing
more
sun.
in the sun if the seats were on the sun.
That's probably true. It was bright, and it was
well, and the other part too was like the early part of the day. There was like a nice marine layer, and it was just like, maybe it's just gonna be like a cool, cloudy day all day, and it'll be fine.
First pitch, bloop, sun comes out. We're like, all right, well, this is gonna be good.
Hey, they're playing baseball.
I want to watch. So,
goddamn you, son, and your love of Padres baseball.
Took pretty good care. Got a little, tried to get rid of the farmer's tan a little bit. Had the sleeves up. Did not think about the knees. Got sunburned on top of the knees because the shorts came up. It's unfortunate. But anyway, it gave us an excuse to get out of the sun a few times and go for a walk. So we walked the stadium again. And by the way, I still need to put that Google review in. There's a pizza place on the concourse level.
Yeah. If you ever go to San Diego, heed these words.
It's in the right field, outfield concourse. I don't remember the name of the place.
I'm sure it's the pizza place.
It's like Brickyard Pizza or whatever.
Yeah.
But they have bottomless Coke. Now, the previous day, I had purchased 2, I think, Cokes, maybe 3, at the cost of $9 a piece or $11 a piece or whatever it was. So then we stumble on this place. It's like $8.50. But we saw it because it had the Coke machine there. And I'm like, they let you fill your own drinks? What's this about? And we walk around and we see bottomless Coke, $9. I'm like,
I feel particularly bad because we went out to smoke. Here's another Here's another example of legendary Padres customer service. We went out to smoke, and before we left, when we were like getting stamped by the guy at the gate,
which by the way, listen, I understand your position, but to say, we don't allow any smoking in the stadium, so stamp this, take 2 steps out of the fence, smoke all you want there, turn around and come back through security with your stamp and you're fine. Okay. We can't just find a little place.
Like, we could literally just smoke in that little concourse there. Like, we're down below everybody else. We're basically sectioned off. Like,
there's
probably some California rule where it's just like you can't smoke within the property of the stadium.
But I was like, I get the no indoor smoking thing, but we're literally outdoors.
Yeah.
So we got burned by a very hot sun all day. We are outdoors.
I also like how like they have like no smoking signs all over the hotel that clearly people have smoked in for like 70 years because it had that like 70-year-old cigarette smell to it.
All of a sudden we changed the law and now it's not okay. All right.
No, you can't open your window and smoke a cigarette. What are you?
You might ruin the hotel. It smells.
You could
like
smoke on the rooftop deck, but only in this small little corner. We can't have the cigarette smell going elsewhere. It's just like.
Listen, this place smells like unfiltered camels, okay? So I'm thinking maybe it's not going to be a problem. Nonetheless. So
I'm going to switch off from the San Diego part of this
hang
real
on
quick.
A sec. You were in the middle of the Coke.
Oh, yeah. So we asked the guy as we were exiting, can we bring our Cokes with us?
Yeah.
And come back in? He's just like, yeah, sure thing. And we're like, okay. And then we walked outside with full Cokes that we just paid like $9 for or whatever. And then start to walk back in, and they're like, oh, you can't bring that Coke back in. It's just like, motherfucker, I've been in your view the whole time.
Well, they were just like, oh, you can't bring that back in. I'm like, oh, well, we asked before we left, and he said it was fine. Oh, you can bring the cup, just not the liquid. Motherfucker. Are you kidding me right now? Like, why would I take a cup out if it wasn't to take it out and bring it back in? Anyway, so Cory dumped his. I guzzled mine.
Well, I drank most of mine. I drank it like it was literally full. I was like, I got it down to like a quarter left, and I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to prove a point.
Yes. Anyway, so that was San Diego. It was super fun. I encourage everyone to check out Petco. I think it was a good experience just overall in San Diego.
Yeah.
And especially the stadium. But you had been to earlier to Phoenix.
And now for a not a recommendation.
Yes.
Don't go to Phoenix, especially not in the summer. It's not. It's inhabitable. There's no.
Not fit for man or beast.
It's not. When I left the state, like when I was driving back home, it was 10:30 at night or something like that. It was still 100 degrees out at 10:30 at night. It is not fit for anybody to live there. And by the way, I found out some little sneaky little trick about Arizona. Phoenix is the 6th largest city in the country,
right,
by population. But you know how they get that? By adding all the cities that aren't Phoenix that surround it. So like Glendale is like Phoenix. And it's like in LA, like the cities that break off from LA don't count towards their population. So technically, whenever they're talking about the population of LA, that doesn't include like Santa Monica and Beverly Hills and
that's why when we talk about it, it's like it's a metro area of 8 million people.
Yeah.
But LA has 4 million in it. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but there's these little places that have a lot of people in them that aren't technically LA.
And there's
Phoenix
like
is
things
the
that
same.
are like part of the city, but like are their own neighborhood. Like North Hollywood is like a town on its own, but it's part of incorporated LA.
Yes. Yeah.
Phoenix, I did the math. If you take the population of Phoenix, which is like 1.5 million people, and you take all the people who are living in Baltimore and Baltimore County, it's the same amount of people.
Oh, there
and
you go.
I would argue that Baltimore and Baltimore County are more of like a
Concise area.
concise area than this Phoenix area that they've created.
And much like Phoenix, lots of racist if you go to certain areas of Baltimore County. Dundalk in particular.
The thing I laughed at loudest probably all this week was the Baltimore County and Montgomery County. It's like, if anyone's going to be racist to the city, it's me and maybe the boy.
By the way, oh my God. Also went to Universal. Took 3 days off. Went to Universal on Wednesday. Of course, they have Springfield Land at Universal.
Yeah.
While eating lunch, that episode of The Simpsons came on, and I started cackling at the episode. Not because it's that particularly funny, but I could only think of that meme.
Yeah,
and I was just like,
it was pitch perfect.
people looking at me, and I'm just like, sorry, I can't explain why this is
There's a
funny.
meme that's funny to me.
It's about racism. Let me explain it. If you're from Baltimore, you know.
You might not understand unless you're from Baltimore, but here are
This
the
is how it
flags
works.
of Baltimore County and Montgomery County, 2 counties in Maryland.
Anyway,
But
yeah.
yes, don't Arizona. The ballpark is not. I like I find it interesting how ballparks introduce themselves to you.
Okay.
Like, so if you go to a game at Camden Yards, it'll be like, welcome to Oriole Park at Camden Yards, the ballpark that forever changed baseball.
Which is true. Petco is an example.
Petco, I think they said like the most beautiful park in America or something like that.
Yeah, voted
Which,
America's most beautiful park.
Yeah.
It's like a couple years in a row, whatever it was. So
When I went to Arizona, which is a fine ballpark, but not anything on the level of Camden Yards or Petco Park, they were going like, welcome to Chase Field, the most interesting park in all of baseball. And I'm just like, usually when you say interesting, it's not like a good thing.
yeah.
If someone's just like, hey, what did you think of that song I wrote and sent to you? It was interesting.
Yeah.
It means I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it at all. I just said it. I said it was interesting to make you think that it was like thought-provoking.
I got nothing else to say. I'm sorry. This is all I got. But
interesting.
And listen, nothing can be that interesting if it's 115 degrees outside. So.
It's so hot. I can't even like. I wanted to like explore Phoenix a little bit, but literally, if you were out there for more than 10 minutes, you were bursting into flames. So, and people don't live there. Like
That's what you were
the other
saying,
thing.
yeah.
Like, the whole time, like when we were in San Diego, we saw people everywhere. When I was in Arizona, like literally for the whole 2 days I was in Arizona, I think maybe outside of the ballpark I saw like 20 people.
Same 20. It's like the Matrix. They're just circling. Or damn, what was that movie with Jim Carrey?
Truman Show?
Truman Show.
Yeah.
They're just circling the block and coming back around.
It's like Truman Show without the budget for extras. Just like you got to call all your friends to come be extras. Anywho, yeah, that's sports ball.
Yep. Oh wait. I didn't have it queued up. I didn't know you were gonna end it that fast. But
sorry.
yeah, that's. Go ahead, hit it again.
Yeah, that's sports ball.
Well, now that we're 30 minutes into the podcast and we've covered one topic, let's try to roll through as many of these as we can. This week, Democratic debate.
Yes.
I watched exactly 0 seconds of it.
Right.
So
Just like the first debate.
just like the first debate. Here's the thing. I will start paying attention once you get 20 people off the stage. I don't want to hear from Andrew Yang. I already know what he's going to say. I don't want to hear from Williamson. I already know what she's going to say. Delaney.
What I want Jake Tapper to have the position to just tell people to leave.
You brought up the mic muting thing. I think at some point he should just be like, all right, you're done, Yang. All right, so let's move on to people who actually have a chance to win presidency.
Like I wanted Tapper to just like when like Michael Bennett was talking, like after he did his opening like whole thing where it's just like like I'll be good for America because I was good for Colorado. he's like doing these lines where it's like supposed to like hype up the crowd, but they're not. It's just like, and that's why I love America. Crickets. Like, I really just wish Jake Tapper would like pull off his glasses dramatically and just be like, Michael Bennett, get the fuck off the stage. You're done. Like, literally nobody is asking for you to be here. Right. You're done. You're get
Tapper
out.
polls the audience. All right, anybody gonna vote for him?
Anybody here for Bennett? All right,
no.
See ya.
All right, you're out. Or he hits the big X. Oh, combining game show or reality TV game show with the debate. Hit the big X. You're off. I'm sorry.
But seriously, I like this debate idea where it's like, say every candidate gets 20 minutes total to speak.
Right.
Like they've figured out that that's the even split of all the candidates speaking time.
It's quick chess.
Yeah. So if you want to get into the healthcare thing and you want to keep running over your time, you're free to do it. But understand you're cutting into your 20 total minutes.
Yep. And
the second you hit it, mute. You're done.
We're doing 20 questions. Everyone will be able to respond on 20 questions. You get a minute for every question. Your time is up here behind you. So if I cut you off, that is a warning that your minute has expired on this question. Yeah. But you can continue to go. Just know the clock is running, and at some point we're going to be 33 minutes into this debate, and they're going to be like, I apologize, Senator. You have run out of your time.
Kamala Harris is going to be into her like, well, Mr. Vice President, I was a victim of. It's just like,
sorry, I'm sorry, Senator, your time has expired. Nope, time expired. You agreed to the terms of the debate, and we are going to hit it. Again,
just getting in on Biden's mic. It's just like, I was a victim of your racism.
Just a big X. The light changes from white to red over top of them. The mic's muted, and they just stand there in shame because they realize they've made no points all night and burned all 20 of their minutes. But no, I'll start paying more attention when we cull the field down a little bit and we try to get some people. But as you pointed out in our pre-show meeting, it's looking like Iowa might be the time, which means we are months away from that being the case.
Well, there is another debate that's coming up.
Well, really?
Color me surprised. With stricter things to
standards to get in.
Standards to get in. Yeah. Basically, these first couple debates had very low standards to reach it, which is why there's so many candidates out there. But all we have for the next one so far is Biden, Booker, Buttigieg, Harris, Klobuchar, O'Rourke, Sanders, and Warren. Okay,
so here's a little advice. Pete, I love you. Stick it out. You're going to be governor of Indiana in 2 years, so I love that you're on the national scene. Not going to be president, but I want you to be, but you're not going to be.
You'd make a compelling cabinet member.
Yes, and maybe that's what he is. Get in, do 2 years in the cabinet, go home, run for governor of Indiana, and then set yourself up for 2024 if, Sanders wins and then dies of a heart attack, which is possible. He's like 80 years old. Beto, go home. Go home to Texas, run for Senate. We need Democrats in the Senate.
Yeah, run against Cornyn.
There's no reason not to.
You
Warren,
can move all this money into a Senate race. It could be one of the highest paid Senate races in the history of the world.
Yes. Kamala and Booker, I love both of you. But Kamala, you finally got called out about being a prosecutor who just basically created a war on African Americans in the U.S. Maybe go home and lick your wounds a little bit and realize that the Senate is the best place for you to clean up your record.
I love, by the way, how there was when Tulsi Gabbard basically took Kamala Harris out at the knees.
Yeah.
She's just like, fuck this bitch. she had no, like, the question had nothing to do with it, too.
She's just like, I'm taking her down. Here we go.
Just like, Tulsi Gabbard, do you have anything to say about healthcare? It's like, no, but I have something to say about Kamala Harris as state's attorney of California.
But also think that maybe one of these debates we should do tag team. Because I already like the Warren Sanders.
Yeah.
Like, don't make me turn my guns on him. That's a Republican talking point, and you're basically tearing something apart that I agree with.
I would rather. I like the idea of the Bernie Warren tag team though, because Bernie could just be like on the ropes, just come on, let me get in here. I got something to say.
Yeah, just going nuts.
Like when you see
Elizabeth.
When you see the real wrestling tag team, it's like the one guy who's like gassed, and you see the partner like leaning as far as they can. It's like, come on, Emma, I'm gonna get in here. Just touch my hand. Just
Beto's coming around the corner.
Slightly graze my fingers.
Grabs the leg off, drops him down. In fact, if we could do this in a wrestling ring, I might in fact enjoy it more. Anyway, so yes, it'll be great, and I don't think that's finalized though, right? Because more people can qualify up to the
they're-
deadline.
I mean, apparently, God knows how this happened, but Andrew Yang is apparently on the bubble for qualifying.
So here's
the Yang Gang is not to be trifled with. They are
it's
they're
scary.
crazy about their candidate who can't win.
Between Yang and Marianne Williamson,
Yeah.
like there is just a Trump-ish thing happening in the Democratic Party as well. And it's scary because it was funny the first time, but then we elected him president. And now I'm looking at it like, no. Let's not fuck around with this, okay? We need to get this boy off the stage.
I don't want to end up with my choice being between Williamson and Trump. So let's get serious.
I will burn this motherfucker to the ground if that is the choice. I am just telling you all now. Guillotines are coming out.
Williamson's such an like I'm so fascinated by her. Like she's
Stop
not.
it. That is Trump talk. You're a Trumper now.
I'm serious.
Listen, I'm not going to vote for her, but like she's pretty interesting. And then 8 months from now, Corey's like, listen, let me tell you why your vote should be for Williamson. She's a genius businesswoman.
Yeah, she's going to put children in
oils.
cages, but they'll be hanging from the ceiling, so they won't actually be on the floor. Solutions.
She's going to give every caged child essential oils that will help de-stress them. It'll be fantastic.
The thing that
No antidepressants though.
the thing that's interesting about Williamson is like she brings up really like interesting points that are well thought out, and like she does it in like a compelling manner.
Yeah.
But she's also like the craziest person I think I've ever seen in my life. So like, there's like this like going back and forth between like, oh, that's a really interesting point, Mary. It's just like, what about a time you agreed with Scientology on like 97% of their facts? It's just like, not so much. Not so crazy about Williamson.
Here's the thing: it's the rent is too damn high guy.
Yeah.
His debate, he actually held his own on several points.
He made salient points.
He did. The problem, though, is whenever it hit something he wasn't too into or too cognizant about, it would just turn to like, the rent is too damn high. And I'm like, okay, so
You only got the one note.
you're
Yeah.
a crazy person. And we've allowed you to enter this debate, and this is problematic. And I feel like she's kind of the same way. It's just there's an edge, but you know who else was like that? The president of the fucking United States was like that back in 2016. So
Yeah.
it's all terrifying. And I joke about Pete Buttigieg running in 2024 for president, and that is a really huge assumption that the United States will be a country in which you can vote or at all in 2024. So I suppose we'll see. I'm excited for the next debate, though. If it's down to 7, I may watch. I just don't want to see everybody getting 25 seconds to respond to stuff. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's too many people. It's too many people who are like talking. Like, there's really no point for John Delaney to be up on this stage at this point. He's not gonna win. He's just kicking people out. I'm gonna just run through real quick, and after 2 debates, say yay or nay to the people who are remaining, just based off of their debate performances so far, and whether or not I think they have an actual chance of winning the presidency. Michael Bennett, no.
Jeb.
Joe Biden, sure.
Nah.
I mean, he can stay. He's the front runner, so he's not going anywhere.
Mainstream media stops reporting about him, and he will die. That is it. He's being propped up by that.
Eventually, I think he's just going to fade away like he always does when he runs for president. But
Let's
like
hope.
for the time being, there's no reason why he can't stay in the race.
Sure.
De Blasio gone.
Is he still running?
Yeah, he was out there trying to make points too. Cory Booker can stay. He had a really good debate. Steve Bullock gone. Pete Buttigieg can stay. Julian Castro can stay, but he's on the bubble.
He did really good, though, as well. He had
On
some
the
salient
first
points.
debate. In the second debate, he kind of fell apart.
Okay, I didn't see the second. I haven't even seen the highlights for the second.
John Delaney, get the fuck out. Tulsi Gabbard
Just for fun.
can stay for now.
Yes.
Kirsten Gillibrand can go.
Yeah, let's have some whiskey.
I don't even know who the fuck this person is. Mike Gravel?
Yeah, that's the Alaskan senator.
Oh, yeah. He hasn't qualified for anything, so go. Kamala Harris can stay for now.
No,
Hickenlooper
go
can
home, Kamala.
Jay Inslee can stay. Those glasses have really done something to me.
Yes.
They've tickled me in just the right manner. Klobuchar can stay for now. She's on the bubble.
Only because she took out Kamala.
I don't know who the fuck that person is. Seth Moulton is out already, isn't he?
I think so.
O'Rourke.
Go home to Texas.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really see the point in him staying in this. Like, he's not good enough to win. So
And he's risking any Senate campaign he might actually run.
Tim Ryan can go. Bernie Sanders can stay. Tom Steyer can go. So they got a lot of people on this list who don't matter. Elizabeth Warren can stay. I think she's my favorite going into it.
Mm-hmm.
Marianne Williamson can go. Andrew Yang can go. That's it. I thought we were gonna have to go through a lot more names.
No, a couple of people actually dropped out already, I think so.
So yes, I feel like a lot of these candidates can go already, but the problem is that they got somebody, like somebody in what's his face, the Maryland guy, Delaney.
Yes.
Someone in Delaney's office is just going like, listen, when you place third in Iowa, money's gonna start pouring in, and they're gonna take you real serious.
Nope, they are not.
But then you got to run and get to Iowa and realize you only got 1% before you can like drop out quietly. Do an O'Malley and just be like an hour before the polls close and just be like, hey guys, it was fun, I'm going.
Yeah, it's gonna be this thing where eventually
don't report my vote totals, I'm already out.
Eventually we will all come to the realization that we've been making a mistake for a long time. Speaking of which, this morning, some unbelievably tragic news out of El Paso, in a never would have seen that coming sarcastic response way, at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, Cielo Vista Walmart, which I've actually been to, funny enough. A shooter went in, killed 20, injured 24, and of course that number is likely to grow. The 24 reported is people who are in the hospital.
Yeah.
And it's a low number because apparently there may have been some people who were shot and then left the scene because their immigration status is questionable and they did not want to risk being deported.
Yeah.
Even though they were shot by a terrorist in an act of terrorism, they were afraid to seek medical care because of their immigration status.
Yeah, just imagine you were in like the World Trade Center and you were just like, I can't go to the hospital.
Yeah. Missing the bottom half of my leg. We'll figure this out. I'm going to rope it off, and we'll see how it works out. Now, I made a joke in the description for this episode that Baltimore is creeping ever closer to Escape from L.A. or Escape from New York. Mm-hmm. But realistically, the entire country is. It's getting a little ridiculous. And, there are people joking about the creep toward fascism, but honestly, so we already have concentration camps. We've already defined who the other is. We've already positioned ourselves opposite of the other, and we've allowed them to be treated like animals. They're subhuman now. And people who are related to them, like even casually or defenders of them, are now worried about being targeted. I was making this argument to people at work. I'm like, people like me are next on the list. Because after the other is all caged away, then they start looking at the troublemakers. And who are we going to have to worry about who's going to be loud and obnoxious and, guillotines. Start talking about guillotines in an inconvenient time.
That's when Nazi Germany went from just the Jews to Jews and
others,
likewise people.
Yes,
yeah.
Jews et al. And I told people, but I don't know why people don't know this quote more. But Father Niedermuller, who said, they came for the Jews, but I wasn't a Jew, so I said nothing. And they came for the communists, but I wasn't a communist, so I said nothing. They came for the trade unionists, but I wasn't a trade unionist, so I said nothing. Then they came for me. And there was no one left to speak for me.
Yeah.
And that's what track is you pick off people who just enough people don't care about that we can't get any action moving. Yeah. And be frank, if I was to be sent to a concentration camp, there would be several people who would be very upset. But generally there might be a sentiment of like, he's been running his mouth for a long time. Maybe he'll learn a thing or two. So eventually just people get picked off until there's no one left. And we're on a slow roll towards the downfall of society. Again, when people will not seek medical care because they are worried about the consequences of medical care. And this is forgetting the fact that this is like the 200th shooting.
I would also like to point out that this is like the third shooting where Trump was like kind of directly like it fit into the MO of the shooter.
Yes. Yeah.
And I all I know is that if there was a mass shooter during the Obama years who just liked Obama's Facebook page, Fox News wouldn't be able to stop talking about it for a week and a half.
We would still be talking about it now. But yeah, he noted about Donald Trump. But remember when that guy liked Obama's Facebook page
and shot that one guy in San Diego?
Yes. Remember? Remember?
Who's there for his memory? Like. Ridiculous.
But again, and Walmart responded today, and I've seen about 90 tweets with the like, hey, fixed it for you, Walmart, where it was like, because of this second tragedy in a week at a Walmart location, we are no longer going to sell firearms. But of course, that's not what they're going to do. And we just can't get smart on this. I mean, like, anyone who's been listening to the podcast for more than, 6 months, I'm not the guy. I'm not the crazy green liberal who's saying, take all the guns. We don't.
I'm on
we need to
everything
take the guns
else you
away.
are, just not on this specific time.
I mean, this particular thing, I'm very much like, no, guns are good. We should have them. But maybe make it a little harder for the crazy racists to have them. And can we finally say white nationalism is far more threatening to American society than any sort of Islamic-related terrorists? At what point does the body count of white nationalist terrorists have to double, triple, quadruple the amount of people who've been killed in this country by Islamic terrorism for us to be like, you know what, maybe it's a problem. Maybe it's something we should address.
You know what I think it is? I think it's the idea that like every once in a while people get upset about or get worried about anthrax. Like anthrax comes in the news and like people are just like, God, I hope I'm not in the middle of some public place when they put out anthrax, because then thousands of people will die. But then you don't think about like the things, like car accidents kill a lot more people than anthrax.
Yep.
But you don't worry about oh, I might die in this car accident. The white supremacist shooters are kind of like the car accidents of terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
Because they happen all the time. They might not take out hundreds of people like a 9/11 will. Right. But they'll take out a couple dozen. But it's just sort of like, I just don't get like why. I don't know.
But again,
we've been through this so many times. I just feel like we repeat ourselves so many times.
Yeah, it's like I want to talk about it, but what can we say about this one that we didn't say about the last one or the one before that, or Christchurch, which this guy was citing as inspiration? Yeah. And he's saying stuff like the invasion of the United States by Mexicans. And that is straight out of Trump's stump speeches. Yeah. Like, you cannot more directly tie this to the racist ass president of the United States. So I don't know, what the solution is. Oh, wait, I do. Guillotines. Listen, it's a cheap solution. It is $25 worth of steel and $10 worth of lumber, and we could start making big changes around here.
I mean, you got to remember the rope. The rope costs some of the money.
Oh, listen, I'll do a gravity-fed one. I will be the one on top of a ladder.
Just like holding it?
I'll pull it up as I go up the ladder and then just like drop them in. Let's do this. Boom. And then climb down the ladder and grab it, pick it up. I don't even need the damn rope. Or we could use the entrails of the first person as the rope, and as it wears out, we'll just take more entrails. I'm down with that. When it comes to white nationalists, nothing is too big of a punishment. Coming from I don't know if you could see, super white guy. Very, very white guy.
I don't know. You got a little tan in San Diego.
On the arms. On the arms only. I actually can't really. The light's a little bright. You can't see it. But I want to
go back to your country, red knees.
Yeah. My knees actually match my shorts right now. So another story that came out this week, not to skip over, but what else are we going to say? It's stop shooting people. Ceasefire in Baltimore.
I would say thoughts and prayers, but the problem is that's become like so hyper political too. Like you can't even make a general like nod in the direction of I feel sorry for these people without it being like, well, what are you doing? Anyway.
So one story that deserves more time, so let's hold it till next week. Cory's favorite president's a huge racist. Who's surprised? Also, every Republican's favorite president, also a huge racist.
Surprise.
So tapes came out of a conversation between President Nixon, or former President Nixon, and President-elect Reagan. Yeah. Where they used entirely racist language about black people. So we'll touch on that next week. I have some thoughts. Also,
I mean, I don't think we really need to like.
We do. I have some thoughts. We'll save it. It's fine. That's an evergreen story. It's not really in the news. It's fine. Yeah, that's fine. A$AP Rocky's coming home. The president freed A$AP Rocky. Did you actually read the story about his release?
No, I couldn't care less. And whenever you heard anybody who ever worked with a presidency before now, like talk about like the unbelievable power of the presidency, where it's just like they said something about like Bush made an offhand comment once about like, you know, like, oh, you can go to Walmart and buy that.
Yeah.
And then it became like this huge thing for Bush for like weeks, like where his staffers were just like, no, he didn't specifically say Walmart because he was trying to raise the prices on Walmart stock. He was just like making like a general, like, you can pick this thing up anywhere. And he happened to say Walmart. And it's like, you know, the Target people are upset because he went Walmart. And it's like, it used to be that like the presidency held this like outrageous power where even if you said something like even a little bit off guard, it became like this huge problem. And now we're just like, whatever the fuck, like none of it matters. But I mean, like, I don't know. I just like the fact that the president is even dealing with, you know,
a rapper being in prison for punching a fan, apparently.
Well, and like, you know, did he punch the fan? Like maybe.
But more importantly,
like, you know, somebody going to jail for doing something like that isn't like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah,
like,
also, by the way, the president didn't free him. They reached the point in the Swedish process where there's an option of releasing them pending verdict.
Yeah.
And he got released. Now, he's probably never going to go back. So it'll be an issue of, like, will we send him to Sweden?
Yeah.
And that's going to be probably for the president. But the president didn't do shit. He tweeted something after an event occurred, and he's competing for likes with
and the
Kim
idea
Kardashian.
that, like, you know, like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have, like, sway over the president. Like, you know, like, oh, you really got to look into this ASAP Rocky situation. It's like, go fuck yourself. Really?
Yeah.
Like,
well, we're already over time, but let's take a quick trip on down to the Baltimore Corner.
Where you get the straight dope.
Yeah. A couple of big stories. Baltimore remains in the news. Trump can't keep our fucking name out your mouth. Elijah Cummings. Again, a civil rights icon, someone who fought and bled for civil rights. Has represented the city of Baltimore, West Baltimore, and parts of the county for 30 years now, probably. Tragically, became a victim of the city of Baltimore as his house was broken into, and he scared the person off by just shouting, and they ran off before they got to the upstairs where he was. And of course, Trump tweeted a sarcastic comment, which shows that again he is a racist and doesn't care about anything. And I don't. Again, what do you say about Trump at this point? It's like,
you know, the thing that I've been seeing a lot of, mostly from right-leaning friends on Facebook over the last 2 weeks here with the story, is a lot of like, well, Trump is right. Baltimore is a shithole, and Cummings isn't doing anything for him and stuff like that. It's like, I get your point. I get where you're coming from. But also realize this. Cummings is one of 438 members of Congress. So his ability to do anything is limited by 438 people coming together in some sort of way.
He's done a lot of stuff. He puts a lot of bills forward, and then the Republicans, who had the majority for a long time, killed a lot of those bills. And now he's dealing with Nancy Pelosi, who, as we've talked about before, is a huge fucking coward and doesn't want to do anything.
Doesn't want to step up. So like this is part of Cummings' problem is that he doesn't have any direct tie to whether or not the city fails or succeeds. You want to talk to the city council, the mayor, people like that.
Hey,
the governor,
Larry Hogan also not done shit.
Larry Hogan has more to do with Baltimore's success than Cummings does, because like he has more direct impact on what happens.
Also,
and President
of the United States.
If Trump called up Jack Young tomorrow and said, hey, what are some things I can do to help Baltimore? He'd have a list. He'd have some things that could happen that the federal government could just help with, and then could dramatically change things.
I know Ben came up here the other day. Could you actually send us some HUD money? That would be great. It'd be fantastic with the money, not just the visit. So.
Getting kicked off a church, too. Did you hear about that one? Yeah.
We don't like you anymore, Ben. Sorry.
But yeah, I it's just scary too. Like the idea that, like, you know, like there was the guy who like was sending pipe bombs to like AOC and CNN and Pelosi and a whole bunch of other different people. Now Elijah Cummings' house gets broken into. Like, this is way worse than, like, you remember when the Trump administration was making a big deal about like Sarah Huckabee Sanders getting yelled at a restaurant and stuff like that, or like being asked to leave politely from a restaurant. Yeah. And just like, this is the greatest indignity of your life. Like, imagine if like Elijah Cummings' like granddaughter was just like sleeping in the living room and some white supremacist breaks in with a gun. Some Trump loony. And it's like, listen, you know, shit gets out of hand real quick. Like, you know, like I just don't.
Well, in other news,
It's not the same thing.
Baltimore again descending into Escape from New York. Light rail station that I used to take to University of Baltimore every single day collapsed into the ground. And the city police...
Sinkholes, baby.
Yeah, the city police refused to release camera footage of it actually happening.
Maryland MTA, technically.
Oh, Maryland MTA, that's right. Yes, MTA.
They're the same ones that are responsible for not giving us the tapes of the start of the Mondawmin.
That's right.
Riots,
yeah,
too.
maybe they just don't like to give out tapes.
Which the city of the Baltimore Sun sued 19 different times, and it's just every single time they win a little bit more access, but then there's those no, this will compromise some sort of terrorist thing.
How about this? We'll pay to move the cameras after you show us the video from
or
that
just
day.
show one camera that everyone can fucking see. The
cameras aren't secret. You can see them, by the way.
The people I know in Baltimore who we would call, let's just say they're criminals. They know where the fucking cameras are. The cameras you can see, everyone knows where the fuck they are.
Yeah.
There's no before you do anything, you look around for the cameras.
Some of them have bright blue lights shining on them.
There's one on the corner there at Russell and Pratt. Just show show that one camera that we can all see with our own goddamn eyes, just of the sinkhole thing happening, so we know what happened. That's all we're trying to figure out. We're not asking for multiple angles. We don't want a supercut of everything that happened. I mean, a police shooting happens, you get one tape. You don't get multiple.
And usually you get someone recording the screen of another video that they've been edited just to make sure it's a single video.
Yeah.
So Baltimore is a hellscape. And I love you, but Jesus Christ, can we get our shit together? I'm going to make one suggestion to you. Guillotines. It can make a lot of difference in everything that's going on, especially if some city council members step up behind my plan. I feel like there's maybe one or two that I could get on board. You know what? I'm on board with this guillotines thing. Let's just head up to Roland Park and just start cleaning house a little bit. We can make some stuff happen, I think. I'm exhausted.
Watch it be what's her face, Mary Beth Clarkson or something like that. The one white person on the city council who's been there for 50 years.
Oh yeah, she's from Hamden. Is that Hamden?
Something like that.
Yeah. She's
Just
the old lady in the neighborhood.
You walk into your guillotine story and she's just like, "No, I love it. I've been waiting
for
so long for somebody to bring this up to me."
Listen. I would have done it, but I'm too weak to actually build the guillotines myself. Do you think you could do that? I'll back you on this. Absolutely. Yeah.
You're talking, and she's just opening up a desk drawer, and she just drops a blueprint for guillotines on it. It's like, let's do it. Come on.
Let's do this thing. We would change the city.
You grab him by the legs. I'll grab him by the arms. Holy shit! I wasn't prepared for this.
It's like the dog who catches the car. You're like, okay, I'm talking about this for a long time.
I guess we're really doing it now. I know.
I don't really know what the next step is. I've been suggesting it, and everybody's been laughing. And I mean, Home Depot? Is there a Home Depot around here we can go to? I feel like wood and rope. Where do you get a big knife?
Wouldn't it be funny if you just got 7 or 8 members of the city council to be in on?
You know, I'm gonna vote yay on this. I think it's a good plan.
They're gonna propose it in front of the whole city hall.
Listen, I know you've been. What is that square called that they McKeldin?
Yeah.
I know you've been looking for something to do in McKeldin. Just follow me here. Public guillotine. And then we just start cleaning house.
Yeah.
I need one van. We'll drive around the city. We'll start scooping people up.
We'll pick up the quote-unquote unsavories.
No, not the unsavories. Yes, the unsavories. The ones that live in the White L. That's where I'm going to be focused on, up and down Charles Street and then out into South Baltimore. And we're just going to bring them on down and, it's like, I'll put this to a vote. I think this will be pretty easy. All the ayes? Yeah, no, we're with
unanimous.
You.
Wow.
Let's do this. Okay, thank you.
And then it comes time to actually pull the string, and you're just like, I don't think I can do it.
Oh, no, I absolutely. You put Kevin Plank's head in that thing, and you're going to have to hold me back away from the trigger. I will be like, let me go, man. Oh, it'll be a repeat of 2009 all over again. Like, let me go, man. Let me go. Kevin Plank kicking me in the face. It'll be great. Fantastic. Oh, you know what? I just got a little turned on.
Well,
glorious.
Well, you know where you can find other ideas that might get us on some sort of list?
Where's that?
OTheanthem.com. Corey to OTheanthem.com. O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. You can find more of me at my website, CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, Facebook.com/Cory Baker Film, or at LegendCB5 on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. The most recent review was the
Once Upon
a Time in Hollywood. And I have the Farewell coming up on Monday. I just recorded that one today.
Farewell? Is that a movie?
Yeah. It's the one with Aquafina where they lie to the grandmother about dying of cancer.
That's right. Yeah.
It's really good. Go check it out.
Yep.
And check out the review, which is also available in podcast form.
At anchor.com or anchor.fm.
Yeah, anchor.fm/Cory Baker Film.
There you go. All right.
Yep.
And, of course, you can find more of me at Robert and Cheek on all your social networks. Make sure, except my Finsta. And make sure you check out robertandcheek.com where you can find links to my political blog, the news website, and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Byron's books.
Except for the paperback version of the last two, because still not done, as I said at the opening. But
soon.
Soon, and Foe, second edition of Foe, coming soon. I actually have people who are like, you know what? I am excited. I want to get a copy of it. So that'll be in paperback sometime in 2021. But it'll be available on Kindle in September.
For sure.
Definitely.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
Quickly, everyone, to the Williamson Rally at the Scientology Center.
Oh, see, I thought for sure you were going to be like, quickly, everyone, to the guillotines. Do you think I could get McKeldin renamed after me? If they agreed to put
Guillotine
the
Square?
guillotine? No, after me. I want everybody to know who it is that's pulling the thing. Like,